is that I was never comfortable with the relationship that you and Mendeecees had in front of me. Okay, all of that, you at the music video shoot in your booty shorts, sitting on top of him meeting us up at restaurants every time we met up. I was very uncomfortable with it. We gonna say that didn't happen. We gonna sit up here and say, after he was digging in between your thighs at that roof, Chris, and he got up and went to the bathroom, that the conversation was, y'all, I can't. He just my friend. He just my friend. I can't. I mean, and then I said, Tamar, ain't he married? He ain't married. They not married. They just do that for the show.
Yeah, she and I had a thing. It was stupid, but it happened, and I feel bad.
They say some stories don't break quietly, they explode. And right now, the internet is buzzing over a headline so shocking that fans don't even know whether to gasp, cry, or hit refresh one more time just to make sure they read it right. Because according to circulating reports, Tamar Braxton is at the center of a storm that feels heavier, darker, and far more personal than any rumor she's faced before. And no, before anyone jumps to conclusions, we're not saying this happened, we're saying this is what's being talked about. Dissected and debated across blogs, live streams, and comment sections at lightning speed. Whispers started turning into headlines overnight. Screenshots, alleged conversations, emotional reactions. And unverified claims began stacking up, all pointing toward a narrative that has fans shaken to the core. People are asking the same question in disbelief. How did it even get here? Tamar, a woman known for her voice, her vulnerability, and her very public journey through pain and healing, is suddenly being linked to reports involving doctors, tears, and a diagnosis that no one saw coming. And as expected, emotions ran high the moment her name started trending. Some fans say the timing feels suspicious. Others believe the story is being fueled by ongoing drama that never truly cooled down. And then there are those who insist this is the fallout of weeks of tension, accusations, and messy interpersonal conflicts finally boiling over. Social media turned into a courtroom overnight, with everyone acting as judge, jury, and expert witness. Clips resurfaced. Old interviews were reanalyzed. Every facial expression, every pause. Every emotional moment from Tamar's past suddenly meant something new. And that's where the confusion deepens. Because mixed into these reports are denials, alleged breakdowns, and claims that private, medical conversations somehow became public speculation. Fans are shocked, critics are skeptical, supporters are defensive. And somewhere in the middle of all this noise is a woman whose name is being pulled into one of the most sensitive conversations imaginable. So before anyone draws conclusions, before sides are chosen, and before the story mutates even further, we need to slow this down and unpack what's actually being said. Who's saying it, and why this narrative has caught fire the way it has. Because if even half of these reports are being exaggerated, the damage is already done. And if not, then this could change everything. The moment those reports started circulating, the entire narrative around Tamar Braxton shifted in a way no one was prepared for. Not because anyone had confirmed anything as fact, but because of how quickly the story took on a life of its own. According to multiple online chatter hubs and entertainment blogs, Tamar was allegedly seen in an emotional state after what was described as a private medical visit. Again, these are reports, not confirmations, but once the words Dr. Tears and diagnosis entered the same sentence as her name, fans immediately went into panic mode. People who have followed Tamar's career for years know she has never shied away from showing her emotions. But this time, the tone felt different, heavier, almost frightening to those watching from the outside. What made the situation even more intense was the context surrounding these claims. This wasn't happening in a vacuum. Tamar's name had already been swirling around messy allegations, tense confrontations, and whispered accusations tied to people from her extended reality TV circle. So when reports suggested that she was crying after doctors confirmed something serious, many fans connected dots that may not have been meant to be connected. Emotions ran high online, with some people expressing deep concern, while others questioned whether the story was being exaggerated for clicks. Still, the damage was already in motion, because once health rumors enter the conversation, they hit differently. According to commentary circulating online, the alleged moment happened behind closed doors, far away from cameras, but close enough. To someone who supposedly leaked the emotional aftermath, the story goes that Tamar left the medical facility visibly shaken, struggling to hold herself together, and that reaction alone became fuel for speculation. Fans are shocked not only by the claim itself, but by how intimate and invasive the narrative feels. Health is personal, and yet here it was, being dissected by strangers who felt entitled to answers at the same time. Others were quick to point out that Tamar has been under relentless pressure lately. Public scrutiny, relationship rumors, and constant commentary about her personal life have been stacking up for months. Some supporters believe that any emotional reaction could easily be linked to stress, anxiety, or exhaustion rather than the extreme conclusions being pushed online. Still, in the court of public opinion, logic often takes a backseat to drama. And this story had all the ingredients people latch onto as these reports gained traction. Reactions from those allegedly close to Tamar became part of the conversation. Some insiders were described as deeply concerned, while others reportedly urged people to stop spreading unverified information. But even those calls for calm were drowned out by louder voices claiming that this was a long-time secret. Finally, coming to light, the family was left divided in the comment sections, not literally, but in the way fans and observers projected imagined reactions onto them. People speculated how her siblings might be reacting, whether conversations were happening behind the scenes, and how this would impact Tamar's already fragile emotional state. Then came the comparisons. Old interviews resurfaced where Tamar talked about trust, betrayal, and feeling blindsided in past situations. Fans replayed clips, looking for hidden meanings, wondering if certain statements now sounded like warnings in hindsight. Every emotional moment from her past was suddenly reframed as foreshadowing. That's how quickly narratives change when rumor meets memory. And the more people talked, the more confirmed the story felt. Even though no official confirmation existed, another layer to this unfolding drama came from the way some commentators tied these reports to earlier accusations floating around the entertainment space. Allegations, counter-allegations, and messy he-said-she-said moments were suddenly being used as supposed evidence. Emotions ran high as people argued about responsibility, blame, and truth, even though none of those things had been clearly established. Tamar's name became a headline rather than a person, and in that transformation, empathy often got lost. What made this even more unsettling was how quickly sympathy turned into speculation. Some fans expressed heartfelt concern, sharing messages of support and urging kindness. Others went in the opposite direction, questioning her choices, revisiting old controversies, and using the rumors as justification to criticize her past. It became less about what might be true and more about what fit people's existing opinions of her. And that's where the story crossed from gossip into something more troubling. According to reports, Tamar herself had not immediately addressed the claims, which only added to the frenzy. Silence in the age of social media is rarely interpreted as neutrality. Instead, it becomes a blank canvas where people paint their own conclusions. Some argued that her silence meant she was overwhelmed. Others claimed it was strategic. Either way, the absence of her voice allowed the narrative to grow unchecked, feeding on assumptions rather than facts. Behind all of this noise is a larger question that keeps coming up in these discussions. How far is too far when it comes to celebrity commentary? Fans say they feel invested because Tamar has shared so much of her life publicly. Critics counter that medical speculation crosses a line, regardless of fame. That tension is exactly what keeps this story alive, because it sits at the uncomfortable intersection of concern and exploitation. And as the reports continue to circulate, one thing is clear. Whether true, exaggerated, or completely false, this narrative has already left an impact. Tamar Braxton's name is once again attached to a storm she didn't invite. And the emotional weight of these claims has shifted how people are talking about her. The story is still unfolding, reactions are still pouring in, and the questions are only getting louder as the noise kept growing. The narrative around these reports began evolving in a way that felt almost scripted, like a reality show episode stretching itself into multiple acts. What started as shock quickly turned into analysis, then judgment, then full-blown storytelling by people who had never set foot in the situation. According to ongoing commentary, this was no longer just about a headline. It was about control of the narrative and who gets to define what Tamar Braxton is going through in the public eye. Fans are shocked by how fast concern turned into conclusions and how little space there was left for uncertainty. Online personalities and bloggers began framing the story as if it were the climax of a long-running saga. They tied these reports to everything Tamar has ever said about trust, betrayal, and feeling exposed. Suddenly, old emotional interviews were being replayed not as moments of vulnerability, but as supposed clues. Emotions ran high as viewers argued over whether Tamar had been warning people all along or whether the internet was rewriting her past to fit a present-day rumor. That back and forth alone kept the conversation alive, stretching it far beyond the original claim. According to alleged insiders, the pressure surrounding Tamar intensified as the story spread internationally. People close to her were described as being on edge, worried not just about public perception, but about how deeply invasive the discussion had become. The idea that strangers were debating private medical scenarios was reportedly upsetting to those in her circle. Some voices allegedly pushed for a strong public denial, while others felt silence was the safest option. That internal tug-of-war became another layer of drama for fans to speculate about. Meanwhile, the internet did what it always does. When there's no clear answer, it filled in the blanks. People began asking why certain individuals connected to earlier drama were suddenly quiet, while others appeared unusually vocal. Screenshots of likes, follows, and unfollows were treated like evidence. A repost without commentary became a statement. A lack of response became an admission in the eyes of some viewers. The family was left divided in the public imagination, with fans projecting reactions and emotions onto people who hadn't said a single word. What added fuel to the fire was the way commentary channels framed the emotional angle. Tamar was described as crying, overwhelmed, and breaking down. It's not based on direct confirmation, but on the image people already have of her as someone who feels deeply and publicly. That portrayal made the reports feel more believable to some, even though no verified footage or statements existed. Emotions ran high because people felt like they knew her, even if they didn't know the truth. Then came the alleged blame game. According to online chatter, certain narratives started shifting responsibility onto past relationships and conflicts. Old arguments were revisited. Former friends were scrutinized. People debated who might have pushed Tamar into a breaking point, as if emotional stress could be neatly traced back to a single person. These debates weren't about facts. They were about assigning roles in a drama that viewers felt invested in. Heroes, villains, and victims were being cast in real time. Some fans pushed back hard against that framing. They argued that this wasn't entertainment, that speculating about someone's health crosses a moral line. They reminded others that Tamar has children, family, and a life beyond the screen. But even those voices often came with emotional language of their own, which only added to the intensity of the conversation. Compassion and outrage existed side by side, each feeding the algorithm in different ways. According to commentary circulating later, Tamar's silence, whether intentional or coincidental, became the loudest part of the story. People debated whether she was protecting her peace or preparing a response. Some believed she was consulting legal advice. Others thought she was simply exhausted. In the absence of clarity, every possibility felt equally real to those watching. From the outside, that uncertainty kept viewers hooked, refreshing pages, waiting for the next development. At the same time, entertainment insiders began questioning the motivations behind the reports themselves. Was this story being amplified because of genuine concern or because it guaranteed clicks? Was Tamar's name being used as bait in a larger cycle of outrage and engagement? Those questions didn't stop the story from spreading, but they did. Add a layer of cynicism that changed how some fans consumed it. They watched, but with skepticism. Unsure whether they were witnessing truth or performance, what became clear through all of this is how easily speculation turns into perceived reality. When enough people repeat the same unverified narrative, it begins to feel solid even if it isn't. Tamar Braxton, once again, found herself at the center of that phenomenon, not because she spoke, but because others spoke for her. The emotional weight of that cannot be overstated, especially for someone whose life has already been so publicly dissected as this part of the story continued unfolding. There was no resolution, only escalation. Questions multiplied instead. Of being answered, reactions grew louder instead of calmer. And the line between concern and consumption blurred further by the hour. Whether these reports fade or explode further remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. This chapter isn't just about what's being said. It's about what happens when rumor, emotion, and entertainment collide with no breaks. As the story kept unfolding, the tone of the conversation began to shift from shock and speculation into something even more volatile: suspicion. According to ongoing commentary, people weren't just asking what was being said anymore. They were asking why it was being said now. Fans are shocked by how the timing of these reports seemed to line up with unresolved tensions, public feuds, and moments of embarrassment that never truly disappeared. And once that question entered the chat, emotions ran high all over again. Some online voices started suggesting that this narrative didn't emerge randomly, but as part of a larger fallout. Allegedly, old conflicts that were never settled privately may have spilled into the public space in the ugliest way possible. Commentators debated whether this was retaliation, distraction, or pure coincidence. No one had proof, but that didn't stop theories from multiplying. In fact, the lack of clarity made the speculation even more intense, because everyone felt free to fill in the blanks. According to reports floating through entertainment circles, Tamar was allegedly blindsided not just by the rumor itself, but by how deeply personal it was. This wasn't a cheating allegation or a messy argument. This was a claim tied to health, vulnerability, and fear. People who claimed to be sympathetic described the situation as cruel, saying that some lines shouldn't be crossed even in the name of drama. Others, however, treated it like just another plot twist, proving once again how desensitized audiences can become. What really escalated this phase of the drama was the alleged involvement of third parties. According to Chatter, people connected to earlier storylines began inserting themselves, either intentionally or through subtle commentary. A vague statement here, a cryptic caption there, and suddenly fans believed confirmations were happening in code. Every indirect comment was treated like a confession. Every denial was viewed with suspicion. The family was left divided in the eyes of the public. Even though no one had actually gone on record, some fans began questioning Tamar's past openness about her personal struggles. Clips where she spoke about trust, fear, and emotional pain were now being replayed with a darker lens. Emotions ran high as people debated whether she had been hinting at deeper issues all along or whether viewers were projecting their expectations onto her words. The same moments that once earned her empathy were now being dissected for hidden meanings. At the same time, There was growing discomfort around how easily people were speculating about medical matters they didn't understand. Comment sections turned into amateur diagnosis centers filled with misinformation, assumptions, and reckless language. Supporters pushed back, reminding everyone that rumors can cause real harm, especially when they involve something so stigmatized. But once a narrative catches fire, logic struggles to compete with outrage. According to entertainment insiders, this was also the point where the situation allegedly began affecting professional conversations. People whispered about how brands, collaborators, and networks might react to such headlines regardless of their truth. Tamar's career, built over decades, suddenly felt vulnerable to something she didn't even publicly acknowledge. That possibility alone raised the stakes, turning gossip into something that could have lasting consequences. Meanwhile, reactions from fans grew more polarized. One side demanded accountability from whoever started the reports, arguing that weaponizing health rumors is dangerous and unethical. The other side insisted that celebrities invite scrutiny by sharing their lives publicly. Emotions ran high in these debates because they touched on bigger issues: privacy, consent, and the cost of fame. Tamar became the symbol of that debate, whether she wanted to or not. As the pressure mounted, people began speculating about what Tamar might do next. Would she break her silence and address everything head-on? Would she issue a brief statement and step back? Would she let the storm pass, trusting that rumors eventually burn themselves out? Each possibility sparked its own wave of commentary. Fans imagined emotional confrontations, legal threats, and tearful confessions. Even though none of it had happened, what made this phase particularly intense was the sense that everyone was waiting for a turning point. The story felt suspended, like a pause before something big. Every hour without an update felt charged. Every small movement online was magnified. Emotions ran high because uncertainty is uncomfortable, and the internet hates unfinished stories. Through all of this, one uncomfortable truth became clear. The narrative had stopped being about concern and started being about consumption. Tamar Braxton's name was being used as content, her rumored pain as entertainment. Whether the reports were exaggerated or completely false almost didn't matter anymore, because the audience had already moved on to debating outcomes instead of facts. As this chapter of the drama continued, there was still no resolution, only escalation layered on top of speculation. The story had grown bigger than its origin, pulling in old wounds, new theories, and endless opinions. And as viewers waited for the next development, one thing was undeniable. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It was a reminder of how quickly rumor can become reality in the public imagination, and how hard it is to pull that narrative back once it's been released. As the speculation reached its loudest point, the conversation surrounding these reports began drifting toward what many viewers described as the aftermath phase, the moment where the damage, real or perceived, starts revealing itself. According to ongoing commentary, this is usually when stories like this stop being about the initial claim and start becoming about consequences. Fans are shocked by how quickly a rumor, once repeated enough times, begins shaping public perception, as if it were established truth. And for Tamar Braxton, that shift carried a weight that felt impossible to ignore. Online discussions increasingly focused on how emotionally isolating this situation must feel. Commentators spoke about the unique loneliness that comes with being publicly discussed while remaining silent. Emotions ran high as people imagined Tamar scrolling past headlines, reaction videos, and speculative posts that dissected her life without her consent. Supporters argued that silence does not equal confirmation, while critics insisted that public figures owe explanations when stories gain this much traction. That tension kept the story alive, balanced between expectation and restraint, according to entertainment chatter. Some fans began interpreting Tamar's previous advocacy for mental health and self-care in a new light. Old statements about protecting Her pieces were reposted as if they were responses to the current moment. People debated whether she had been preparing for this kind of storm all along, or whether the narrative was being retrofitted to match her past words. Either way, those conversations added depth to the story, transforming it from a single rumor into a broader reflection on vulnerability in the public eye. Another layer emerged as people began questioning the responsibility of media outlets and content creators amplifying the reports. Emotions ran high as viewers argued over ethics. Some insisted that discussing unverified medical claims crosses a line, no matter how famous the person involved may be. Others countered that commentary culture thrives on speculation and that no one forces celebrities to live publicly. Tamar's situation became a case study in that debate, highlighting just how thin the line is between commentary and exploitation. According to reports circulating at this stage, close to Tamar were allegedly encouraging distance from the noise. The idea of stepping back, unplugging, and letting the frenzy burn itself out was floated by supporters as the healthiest response. Yet even that possibility became part of the story, with fans speculating about retreats, private conversations, and emotional recovery. The family was left divided in public imagination, once again, not by statements, but by assumptions about who might be advising what at the same time. Some commentators shifted their focus toward accountability. Questions began surfacing about who first pushed the reports into the spotlight and what their motivations might have been. Was it clout, retaliation, misinterpretation? These questions didn't come with answers, but they added suspense, keeping viewers engaged. Emotions ran high as people debated whether this narrative would eventually collapse under scrutiny or solidify through repetition. What stood out most in this phase was how the story started reflecting broader cultural patterns. Name became a symbol of how quickly society turns personal pain into public property. Discussions expanded beyond her specifically, touching on stigma, fear, and how easily misinformation spreads when emotions are involved. Some fans shared personal stories explaining why headlines like these are so triggering, while others remained focused on the drama itself. That mix of empathy and spectacle defined the moment. As time passed without clarification, people began speculating about long-term outcomes. Would Tamar eventually address the reports directly to reclaim control of the narrative? Would legal action be considered against those spreading unverified claims? Or would this simply become another chapter in a long list of controversies that fade once attention shifts elsewhere? Each possibility carried its own emotional weight, keeping the audience invested. According to commentary trends, this stage also revealed fatigue. Some viewers admitted they were uncomfortable continuing to engage with a story rooted in speculation about health. Others confessed they couldn't look away. That contradiction speaks volumes about modern entertainment culture, where discomfort and curiosity often coexist. Tamar's situation forced people to confront their own role as consumers of drama, even as they criticized it. By now, the story had fully transformed. It was no longer just about what was being reported, but about what those reports represented. Trust versus betrayal, privacy versus access, compassion versus consumption. Emotions ran high because these themes hit close to home for many watching. Even if the specifics remained unverified, as this part of the narrative settled in, one thing became undeniable. Regardless of truth, exaggeration, or fabrication, the impact of these reports was real in how they shaped conversations, reactions, and perceptions. Tamar Braxton once again found herself navigating a public storm fueled by assumptions rather than statements. And while the future of this story remains uncertain, its existence already says a lot about the world that created it. The drama may continue, or it may fade, but the questions it raised will linger. Who controls the story when everyone